All right, I'm back. We got Atomic Betty from Moonraker Brewing right here out of California. And this one is a Galaxy and Citra Imperial IPA coming in at 8.5. So you can see the stats right there. This should be good stuff. Citra, Galaxy, really high hops, really good hops. And Moonraker is a well-respected brewery that I have tried many times before, and I really do like them. Got a nice vibrant yellow color on this one. Definitely a hazy. Not a whole hell of a lot of head. It does have, some higher ABV, so that's totally fine. Looks real good. Oh, man, and that is nice. Ton of citrus and tropical fruits. Really fruity and pungent. Smells great. Oh yeah. Just tons. Bursting with flavor. Really juicy. Not too sweet, but really ripe fruits. A little bit of citrus just zinging over the top of it. Kind of low, medium bitterness. Not really the highest amount of bitterness there, but really tasty. Alright, let's get into the shave. Today we're going to be using Barrister Mann Lavanille. I haven't tried this one in a long time. Recently picked this up from the Razor Company, and it's not necessarily a blind buy. It's in the Omnibus base, by the way. It's not necessarily a blind buy because I tried a sample way back in the beginning of my wet shaving journey, and I remember liking it. You can see it has this nice oily, dark chocolate looking soap there. Definitely affected by the vanillin in it. Making it that dark color, but man, it smells good. It's bold, it's banging, and it is a wonderful scent. I have it loaded up right here in the Thirsty Badger shave bowl. Wonderful bowl made out of Canada. We got this Turn and Shave Custom right here with the M2 Badger knot on top, and this one, funny enough, was based off a black horse because the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, famine, arrived on a black horse. So we got black dyed wood, black resin on top, and then some gold and silver threads throughout. And my camera doesn't always catch them, but man, it's a fucking beautiful brush. One thing I will tell you guys before we get started, if you don't want your badger knots or natural hair knots to get dyed by the color of the soap. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that it will happen, but it's a possibility. And Barrister Mann themselves put a disclaimer that use a synthetic if you don't want your natural hair knots to get dyed. The tips, you know how the tips are typically white or really light straw color. Use a synthetic instead if you're worried about that sort of thing. I'm not really worried about it. I'm not that pompous and bougie, so I did it anyways. So let's get some water on the face. Let's get the shave on the road. The scent on this one is fantastic. Obviously, this one has been around for quite a while. It's in part of Barrister Mann's year-round lineup. It's a very rich, masculine scent, dark and leathery. It's Will's recreation of the Centicord Mousse de Saxe, and he uses lavender, vanilla, cedar, and musk, and it just comes across in the most rich and elegant way possible. I love this scent. Mousse de Saxe has become a scent note that is at the top of the heap for me. Whenever I see it, I jump out for it. It's almost always a winner for me. I like, Full Measure of Man has Musta Sax. Vespers, my favorite scent in wet shaving, has Musta Sax. Baudelaire has Musta Sax. Holy Cod took a swing at it, and I thought it was fucking awful. That's on a totally unrelated note, but that's the only time Musta Sax has failed me, is when another artisan took a swing at it. But Will's interpretation smells really good, and I am a big fan of what he does with Musta Sax. Alright, now, we're going to be using the Blackland Razors Era today, and this is the level 4, let's see if I can bring that in there, level 4 standard bar, so not open comb, but standard bar. I made sure that the blade was aligned, because this razor doesn't automatically align the blade for you. It has a lot of sway that can make the blade sit in there askew, causing an uneven shave. The other thing, that the more time I spend with this razor, the more I pick it apart. But the threading on this, okay, I just unscrewed it just a couple turns, but there is a ton of play in there. A ton of play. I'm moving it a little bit closer. Ton of play, a little bit closer. Ton of play, a little bit closer. Not so much. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. The hype versus reality on this damn thing, they are on two separate sides of the spectrum in my book. And I wanted to like it so bad, but I gotta be honest with myself. The price point wasn't to a level that would cause me to have any buyer's remorse, and speak unhonestly about the product. The price was actually quite affordable. It was a really attractive price. $75 for one base plate option for one complete razor. $35 for every additional plate. Not too shabby. The Rockwell 6S comes with 6 plate options for $120 for the regular stainless steel option, and they do have a few that have color coatings on them, and they're $150 if you want the various color coded ones. But if you think $120 versus $75, but then you got to remember, you got to add 5 base plates at $35 a pop. Now you're getting the same amount of settings, but one razor is more expensive than the other, and it's not the Rockwell. And we're each going to have our own opinion on aesthetics and the quality of the finishing. But in my opinion, the aesthetics and the quality of the finishing are better on the Rockwell in every facet for me, except the slim profile of the head on the Era. That's the one place where I feel like the slim profile has a slight edge, use-wise, over the Rockwell. But other than that, man, I am finding it really hard to find some qualities that just put it above the Rockwell. And I probably, over the course of my use of this thing, starting to sound like a broken record, but I just kind of find it hard to believe that Blackland made this error. It just doesn't, or not error, but just that they did this. It's disappointing. Very disappointing. Excuse me if you hear the background noise there. But let's go ahead and get into pass 2. We'll lather up again here. Got plenty of lather left. The Omnibus base is really good shit. I enjoy it very much. Has nice density. Very, easy to lather. It takes a good fair amount of water. I probably added 7 additions of water. Illuminati additions, as good old Mac Shaves used to say. God, I miss Mac Shaves and his YouTube channel. But Mac Shaves used to say Illuminati additions because whenever somebody would say that they added additions of water, there's no descriptor to how much water was actually being added. That just would crack me up. And I am definitely a big proponent of the Illuminati additions. I just go off feel. Does it feel right? Does it look right? Then I roll with it. That's plenty good for pass 2. I had a few days growth, maybe 2. Yeah, maybe 2 days growth. And there's definitely some hair in the sink. So it does cut, but even on the 4 plate, it's kind of mild. Go ahead and get this against the grain going. One thing with this razor, I feel like it doesn't have the traditional angle. Like, I can't just throw it on my face and start shaving. I kind of swipe until I feel like the angle's right. And I try to lock it in. It's just something that, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that hard to do. But it's just that little bit of extra effort that I don't have to deal with on other razors, and I do have to deal with it on this one. It's just another little thing that kind of drives me from finding complete enjoyment with this razor. I am absolutely loving the scent on this soap. Probably a 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10. Scent strength, bold, banging. Smells great. This is one that I would definitely want to pick up like a matching aftershave of. Possibly even like the matching EDP or something like that. Very, very nice. And you know what? Last time I used this, I had a shit ton of weepers. And I think I got away with less weepers this time. So I'm happy about that. Rinsing out very nicely. Of course, it has some good rinse ports on the underneath side. You can kind of see through the razor right there. Has some good rinse ports, but yeah, and they work pretty well. So that is a positive there. Let's take a look. I thought for sure I was gonna cut this blemish, but I just think the razor is so smooth that it just didn't happen. And even there, I did my with the grain, I did my against the grain. I did my kind of hybrid where I do like a few across right there where I have swirls. and I still kind of feel DFS, and I think that's just something that I'm just gonna have to get used to or settle with. Settle's probably a better word. With the Blackland Era, just gonna have to settle with a DFS with this razor because it just doesn't carry enough efficiency for my beard and my normal technique. So it is what it is, and I don't want to just keep going and keep buffing and keep shaving and over shaving until I get to BBS, because after the fact I'm gonna get left with irritation. So you just got to kind of cut your losses. Got the I got the Lancaster Razorworks Black Sheep Towel. Companies are starting to sound like an alliteration or something like that. A lot of B's and a lot of L's. Blackland, Lancaster. Black Sheep. All right. That was a wonderful shave. I do not regret picking up Lavanille whatsoever. Even though I hadn't smelt it in a long time, I pretty much have a really strong blind faith in that Moustasac scent, specifically from Barrister Mann. And I am not, I'm not let down in the slightest. We had a decent shave, but the scent was banging, and that's really what I get the most enjoyment out of this wet shaving hobby nowadays. I love the hardware. You know, I love fiddling with the software a little bit, but where I really get my most enjoyment is with the scent, the fragrance. It's where I really get the most enjoyment out of this hobby. All right, let's go ahead and grab a little bit of aftershave. This is a not matching aftershave. This is Murphy and McNeil's Infinitus. And Infinitus is small batch. And so the scent on this one is Rose Black. They are not currently selling this, unless maybe it's on their used marketplace, but this is not in production right now. But this is based off Prada's Luna Rosa Black, and it is a wonderful scent. I really like this cologne. Nice industry standard restrictor right there, and this is a good restrictor. You can shake the bottle vigorously, really let it have it. These Infinitus aftershaves are alcohol aftershaves. They're not absolutely overpowering with alcohol. The fragrance does shine through pretty easily, and I'm not really getting a burn whatsoever from the alcohol contacting the freshly shaven skin, which just kind of backs up my point that the Blackland Era on plate 4 is pretty mild. No irritation, no stinging, but also not BBS. So it's like there's there's pros and there's cons there. But now I'm smelling like a fucking snack, and that means I'm smelling good. So thank you guys for watching. The scents, the two fragrances in today's video were fire. Lavanille, winner, chicken dinner. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next one.